Hmm. It's all right. Yeah. Then you can decide if, I mean, I don't know if we should be waiting for Elizabeth or not, because it's almost 10 after.
Right. Probably not.
So I could leave the two of you alone, walk out the door and look down the street to see if her car is even there, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, do you live that close to her? Wow.
I don't live that close to her. I work that close to her. I'm still at work.
I see.
I live closer to you. So anyway, so what do you want to do?
Well, let's start the meeting. But first I have to pull up the agenda here.
Oh, I need to make you a co-host. That would be really good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there you are. I am making you the co-host. So Rachel, we are still sort of learning the Zoom thing.
Totally understand. No worries.
Okay, and I'm going to take a moment to start some minutes, because I've learned that if I don't do the minutes right away as we're meeting, nothing happens.
Okay. So I guess I could also say just a couple of official Department of Neighborhood Empowerment words that we're still working on setting up all of our committee templates and what a committee is supposed to do. So we have not sent to the committee chairs the sort of preamble. So the preamble is, welcome to a UNNC committee meeting. Just by the way, we are recording these Zoom sessions and they are a public record. And UNNC and all neighborhood councils the board members must conduct themselves according to a code of conduct. And we ask that everyone who participates in a Zoom meeting also, since it's all up close, personal, and very participatory, also be respectful of others and try to raise your hand, be polite and don't be rude. So, follow codes of conduct. And if you're not familiar with Zoom and you are on the computer, if you would take your little cursor down to the bottom, you'll see the word participants. And if you click on that, it will bring up the list of participants so you can see who's in the meeting, but more importantly, you can also see at the bottom of that participant screen a thing that says raise hand. So that's how, there's only a few of us here, so here you could just raise your hand, but you can raise your hand on the screen. And Helen, I see your back. So
yes, I'm on the phone though still.
I understand, but I saw you fell off, and here you are back. And I don't think we're really going to need to do the raise hand, but I don't remember, Dan, do you? Is it a *6 or a *9 to raise your hand?
Probably *9. I think *6 is mute.
Oh, *9 if you want to raise your hand. But at the moment, there's only 4 of us here. So, okay, Dan, okay. You're on.
Okay, well, welcome to this second meeting of the reconstituted UNNC Environmental Committee. I, Dan Kegel, am your host for the evening and possibly a co-chair. I'm not quite sure. But I'm definitely leading the meeting, so I better get going here.
Right. I'm calling Elizabeth again.
Okay, great. So welcome. I called this meeting to order at 8:13 p.m. I see that we have a new person attending, Rachel Corin. Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
We have me, Dan Kegel, an existing who was at the last meeting. Elizabeth Fenner will be here probably at 8:30. Rachel, would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, wait, before you do, let me introduce myself. My name is Dan Kegel. I'm an engineer. I live in West Adam Heights, Sugar Hill. So just east of Western. And I'm very much into climate change, and I'm in like 5 different environmental organizations. So that's me. How about you?
Yeah, so I can go ahead. So nice to meet everyone. So my name is Rachel Corin. I work at 24th Street Elementary, so 24th and Western, and I'm working as a nutrition and garden educator. So through the Garden School Foundation, we teach nutrition and garden-based learning for elementary students. And we also run the garden at the back of 24th Street. So it's, I think, over 1.5 acres, and we've turned it into a food production zone. So we're really trying to bolster food production for the school community and for the community in general. So we're running farmers markets every other Thursday. But one of the newer things is we're working with LA Compost. So we're making it possible for people to drop off food scraps or other sort of plant waste, plant matter, if they sign up through lacompost.org, because we've become one of their compost hubs. So I thought that would be a nice way for the community to get involved with sort of eliminating food waste and helping out with that food production too. So, yeah.
Cool.
Nice to
Well,
meet
I got to say, your school and the Garden Foundation are famous, so it's exciting to have you here.
you. Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Is there any public comment on a non-agenda item or any announcements anybody would like to make?
Only that Elizabeth is on her way.
Oh, good. That's good. You know, before we move on to announcements, Helen, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I live in Jefferson Park, and I was on the UNNC board for a while, and I got this grant for tree planting, and that's what I'm here to talk about. And it's really about whether I can hand it over to a bunch of people. So I had a big long chat with Elizabeth, I don't know, last week or so, and it's a big complicated project, which it was not supposed to be, and it needs to be given to somebody else because I don't have the time to do it, or the money has to be given back.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in the agenda item piece, though, rather than, but you can move the agenda around if it's more convenient for Helen after we do public comments.
Yes. Okay, well, let's move on to public comments. Are there any public comments or announcements that anyone would like to make? Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
No problems.
Let's go
Hi,
back
everyone.
to let's go back to introductions. Elizabeth, we have a new member here, Rachel Corin. So maybe you should introduce yourself.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. And it's so nice to see everyone. Laura, Dan, Helen, and Rachel. It's very nice to meet you. I have been living in West Adams for about 11 years now and very happy to be here. I knew Laura Myers almost right away from just being in the neighborhood, and she brought me to...
Well, that's so funny. We knew each other before you were here.
That's true, because I used to
Because I
take the
knew your
historic
mom.
tours.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I met Dan Cagle through climate organization called Citizens Climate Lobby. I met Helen through being a member in the neighborhood council. So
There you go.
yeah, so I'd love to hear about you.
Yeah, so nice to meet you. So I'm working at 24th Street Elementary with the Garden School Foundation. So I'm one of the nutrition and garden educators and also doing a lot of the garden maintenance. So we just started a new compost drop-off program. So
really?
yeah, so we're going to be a new compost hub for LA Compost.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Oh, great. I have a friend that brings me compost every time I
Oh,
see
really?
them. Yeah, because they don't have a compost. So that's super great. We're birds of a feather, I think, all of us here.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. So Elizabeth,
So
you have
Dan, the only
Yeah.
public comment I have is that, and we just lost Rachel's video, is that UNNC does have 2 vacancies on the board,
Yeah.
one of which is specific to Jefferson Park, the bungalow section, an area rep, and the other is an at-large position. So we're just announcing it everywhere. We sent out a e-blast this morning
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I
yesterday,
saw
I
that.
don't remember.
Mhm.
Because these days in COVID, they just merge together. And the other thing is, to Rachel for a second, we should talk offline because I realize we can run an article if you want to write it about the compost hub thing on our website. You know,
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
okay, but we digress from this meeting's agenda.
Okay. So let's see.
Did you want to post the agenda? Do you want me to?
You mean beyond on the website?
Yeah, right here to approve it.
We can share the screen, right?
That's what I'm saying. One of us should post.
Oh, that's right. UNNC does this weird agenda approving thing.
Exactly.
None of the other neighborhood councils I've been at has ever done that.
Because nobody ever says no. So we don't have to.
Let's do it. I'd love to see it. And I like it having it side by side too.
Okay, so who's doing it though, Dan or me?
Well, I should probably. Let me see if I can
Dan,
find.
if you're handling the more tech stuff, then Laura should post it because you'll lose, I think, some of your ability.
Oh yeah, you won't be, yeah. Let me just post it because
Okay.
whoever posts can't see anything else pretty much.
Yeah,
Okay.
So,
that's been my
Is it posting or sharing?
well,
share.
whoever shares can't see a whole lot of other things. Of course, now I can't find the agenda even though I have, oh, here it is, have it up. And we want to move it to this. So, see, because now I can't see who's got their hands raised or anything like that. So
There it is.
there it is. And
Okay. So do I make a motion?
Oh, I have a question though. Who's taking notes?
I'm taking
yeah.
notes.
Okay.
So Dan, the usual thing is the chair asks, will anyone make a motion to approve the agenda? And then I should have said in the little preamble, the way UNNC committees work, we only appoint the chairs and the co-chairs. And otherwise, we use the committees to engage our stakeholders and help them participate more. So anybody who is in attendance is a member of the committee for that meeting and may make a motion and may vote. So,
Okay. Great. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move. I so
Okay.
move.
Do we have a second?
oh, I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Is that good enough, Laura?
It's absolutely good enough.
Okay, let's see here. Where do I put that? Approval of the agenda.
Approve unanimously. Yes, exactly.
Elizabeth
Yes.
moved and Laura seconded.
I think Helen seconded.
Oh, okay, Helen seconded. I'm getting used to this.
And we continue to apologize to Rachel as we pick our way through this meeting.
Mhm.
But you're really enjoying yourself, right? Meeting people in the neighborhood up close and personal.
All right, so let's see. It's 8:23, so I'm going to guess 8:25 here. Let's move on to agenda item 3, the trash pickup thing. Elizabeth, I can't remember whose idea this was. I think it was a joint idea. You wanted to do tree maintenance, and I thought about trash, and I guess my idea was, well, let's just agree to all pick up the trash and fix the trees next to our houses on some day.
Or at a location of your choosing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we would have a socially distanced trash pickup,
yeah,
where anybody could join. We could announce it widely to all of UNNC and all of the people that I know in the area and ask them to join us on the UNNC trash pickup day. We could make it in January, actually. It might be good because it's a New Year's type of thing. And then take a picture of themselves.
Oh,
With their bag of trash, just smiling and or whatever. And then we could post it on social media on the UNNC, or we could make a slideshow.
do you have a catchy title?
Not beyond trash pickup and tree tending day.
But I mean, yeah, no, it's a great idea. You want to, and you just want to recommend it to, I mean, it would have to be jointly recommended to the communications committee because they're the ones who do all the posting.
Ooh, that's wonderful. And on social media?
They do, yeah, they do everything.
Okay.
So, I mean, they would do it, but I think it should have if you guys can think of a catchy title. And you want to engage kids in this and their families?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But then how would you do that?
I was just thinking that the farmer's market is pretty well attended now. And if I had quarter sheets, I could hand out little quarter sheets saying with the instructions.
Mm-hmm.
And I also notice families passing over my footbridge on 4th Avenue on the way to the park. So sometimes I could tell those people, but you know, that's.
Well, let's ask Rachel, are the parents and kids in communications with the school, your school in particular right now? And how is that working?
Yeah, so I think that in terms of them communicating with them, the times when they actually come to the school are for the supply pickups. So that's when we hold our farmers markets and we try to give them sort of as many flyers at that point as possible, because that's when we get the most sort of foot traffic at the school. But I do know that the principal sends out robocalls to all the families, and she does it bilingual too, since it's really predominantly Spanish speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And we also, as GSF, we have decided to start joining the West Adams Farmers Market the first Sunday of the month. So that's something that if we maybe could work together on that sort of trash pickup and something like we could also try to help promote.
Great.
Yeah.
So all you need is, Elizabeth and Dana, really catchy title.
Catchy title.
Yeah, because
Trash
somehow Trash Day isn't so good.
No.
But your basic idea is grab a trash bag and grab a bucket, water a tree, and pick up litter. I mean, something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then take a photo and send us the photo.
Right.
You know, given that it's sort of asynchronous, maybe we don't need to give a particular day, just like a week.
Right.
Or something.
The week. Yeah.
Okay.
Clean up. Okay, so we need a catchy title, and Dan and I could spend some time, or playing with that idea. Helen, did you have something to say? I thought you spoke up a second ago.
Is she still here?
Helen?
She's still here.
That's a good point. When she comes back, we should switch to her her agenda item probably, because she may have short time.
Okay, well, she's showing us still on with us.
Okay.
But I don't know. Oi. Okay, well, I think it's a really great idea. Did you guys need a motion? You probably do. Where the environmental committee recommends here.
Helen? Helen? She just said something, I think. She went on. I'm going to text her too. Yeah, and I think, did she have a 12-hour day?
There
I
she
don't know.
goes.
Since she's here to hand off a project.
Right.
Oh, no.
Because she's busy.
Overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so until Helen, break in anytime if you get this. But so we can plan that for January. Can we set a date in January, and we will use the communication committee to disseminate things. We will talk to Rachel about, can we hand out a flyer on your supply pickup day or farmers market?
Yeah, I think that would be something that would really go along with, because we also wanted to do compost drop-offs on those.
Wow. Okay.
Farmers
Great.
market days too, so it all sort of fits together.
Okay, is this the motion? Something to that effect? I just posted.
You posted something?
In the chat, I posted what might be your motion. Do you know how to see the chat?
First I have to find my mouse.
Yes,
Okay.
find the mouse, go to the bottom of the
Okay,
screen, you see the word chat, click
Yes.
on chat.
Yeah.
Environmental Committee recommends to the UNNC Government Board that in January we promote a tree maintenance and trash pickup day. We would ask that the Communications Committee support this effort. Yes, except
Does
for
that
the,
seem to be, now, for flyers, you would need some money.
no,
You just print them.
yeah, we'd only do like, how many would we need? So, we need that
Well,
many.
25 pieces of paper with quarters. Yeah, cut into quarters.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It would be easier if we don't ask for funds for flyers, but just also as an FYI, with the transition of council office staff from the current Wesson staff to, by mid-December, the Mark Ridley Thomas staff, we don't have a staff person making us flyers. So
I have a printer.
okay. I was going to say we might have a person. We don't even know if we're being booted out of the council office, all of our supplies, which are there. So, but because in the past, Jeff Camp just would do the physical printing at the council office, but we don't know. So I doubt very much we'll have your final information in time for their exit, which is December 7.
We weren't planning on relying on them, I think.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Okie doke.
Um,
So if that's your motion, I think someone needs to make it.
Dan, do you want to?
Let's see here.
Have you seen it yet?
Yes.
He read it. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so who would like to make the motion?
Do you want
Well,
to?
I can make the motion just so long as it's the motion you want made.
Laura, I think you should keep keep your powers in reserve here.
Okay, will do.
I'll make the motion. I move that the environmental committee recommend to the UNNC governing board, blah, 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 that's written up there in the chat.
Okay. Do we have a second? Rachel? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All in favor? Aye. Yes.
Aye.
Okay. All right, motion passes.
Okay.
Wow.
And Dan, if you save the chat at the end of the meeting, you'll have that exact language in your.
Oh, I already have it. I removed
already
the extraneous infinitive. Okay, so on to the street tree maintenance thing.
So I'm going to share the screen again with the original pretty picture thing that Helen had given us. While Helen tells us what she needs to do, which is not do it anymore, right?
Yep. It was supposed to be a simple thing, and for various reasons that would take me far too long to tell you, it's not anymore. There are a bunch of things that need to happen before the actual tree watering can start, which is where the grant money comes in. Stage one is mapping out on Jefferson Boulevard where new trees can be planted, because apparently none of the existing trees can be watered because they don't water anything bigger than 4 inches in diameter, the trunk. So because of new laws since they planted all the old trees, you can't have a tree, for example, closer than, I don't know, 15 feet from a lamppost, closer than 10 feet to a driveway, in front of a doorway. There's a bunch of rules. So even though I did 2 or 3 drive-bys with the people from KYCC, everything that they said was wrong. We have to do it again. So someone has to do that. First of all, map out possible places where the trees can be. There's a whole lot of tree wells, but we can't use half of them because they conflict with these rules. That's the first thing. Second, because there's going to be not that many places where we can put new trees, a lot of them are going to be in spots where there are dead trees. Dead trees have to be pulled out by the city. So someone needs to go get all the dead trees pulled out and figure out which part of the city does that and drag the city by the scruff of the neck to get them to do it. Once that's happened, somebody needs to get hold, several somebodies need to figure out where the trees can go and then contact the business or home or institute, whoever's building is right in front, behind where the tree is, and get those people to sign a piece of paper saying that they agree to take care of the tree for, I think it's 2 years or something. A lot of people don't want trees. A lot of people are going to freak out when they think they have to take care of a tree for 2 years, and they'll go to jail if they don't. So that's going to lose us a lot of trees. So it's going to take a while to do all these things. I'm thinking really a timeline of getting the project started in like the beginning of October next year is much more realistic than thinking it can be done at all this year. It's a huge amount of work and it takes time. Because once you've got the addresses that are suitable for planting trees, you have to then find out who owns the building or who's renting it. Most of the businesses are closed, so you can't get hold of anybody. You have to find out how to look them up. Realtors can always tell you who owns the building, but it's the renter who can also sign. So it's a massive coordination thing, and we can't start the tree watering until we have every single tree mapped out, planted, and ready to go, because if it doesn't happen all at once and give them the list of addresses, the price doubles for each tree, so we don't get as many trees taken care of. So I don't have the time or the bandwidth to do this. I'm happy to be one of the helpers. And I can certainly sit down with somebody and go over everything. This also depends on whether Lanny will let us keep the money till next year.
Okay. Yeah, Helen, I'm going to interrupt a little. Did you?
Yes.
Because next year is already here. Next year started this month in November because your grant was for 1 year, which expired. I talked to the people at Lanny, but did you follow up to make sure that money is still there?
I have done nothing. I have been up to my above my eyeballs in work, so I've done nothing.
Okay, so
that all has to be done.
All right, who besides yourself was on the Lanny grant?
Nobody.
So the one thing that's not easily foisted would be your follow-up to Lonnie, to at least say UNNC will take it over and we'll find someone to be your contact. Their money can probably last longer. The issue is that UNNC's money will not be good after around June 1st. So we'll have to give money to KYCC this fiscal year. We won't be able to extend it another fiscal year. We already extended it into this fiscal year. if you're trying to offload the project, you may not care about that, but the question becomes, how trustworthy is KYCC in your opinion? If we give them the donation, will it stay essentially secured for this project?
I have no idea, because so far they've been really nice, but they have wasted a lot of my time by sending people who didn't know what they were talking about. And I mean, I probably spent 40 hours going over this, and then they finally tell me, oh, we don't do any trees less than 4 inches. And from the beginning I said, I want to water established trees, because then they're already 10 feet tall and they're not likely to die. I don't want to plant new trees. They're the ones that die all the time. So I don't know. I don't know how trustworthy they are. Then whoever it is will have to get it going by June.
Well, what I'm saying is it's easy enough to use the credit card and give them the money. It's just I want to make sure the money stays for a UNNC project, if you know what I'm saying.
They're pretty well known and they have a reputation, so I suspect they don't want to lose business.
Right.
But they have not followed up with me about anything. I've had to nag them about everything, and they don't seem to care about whatever it is, $7,000 or $8,000. I think they're much more interested in planting new trees, because I suspect they get a fairly large amount of money from the city when they plant a tree.
Well, to be fair, what they've mostly been doing in the pandemic is not tree maintenance. They've actually been very much involved with the handing out of food from various pantries to people who are hungry.
Sure.
I don't mean homeless people, but I mean, it's their trucks are being used to distribute boxes of food to senior citizens, etc. So
Sure.
everything is upside down and backwards right now.
Yes, it is. It
Right.
is. So I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Right.
I would think it would be, but I don't know. 'Cause
Right.
I don't know who's
Well,
there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we have watering for how many trees?
25.
25.
25
Oh, was it
trees.
25? Yeah, there you go.
25 trees. And so it needs to be 25 trees.
Right.
And
But
what's
Yes.
the geographic area of those trees? Where do
so
those trees
The
need to
north,
be?
the north side of Jefferson, between Crenshaw and Western.
okay, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting again. The UNNC adjusted its funding
Mhm.
because there aren't enough of those trees on Jefferson to be that or
No, that
other
Laura,
commercial streets.
but Laura, there are, if you go and do the big thing like this, and it's just way too complicated doing it anywhere else, because then you have to talk to householders. At least Jefferson, it's contained.
Yeah. Okay, Helen, all we did, and we talked to Lonnie about this as well, is say, or other nearby commercial streets, if we couldn't do 25 on Jefferson, because at our last
You can
check.
do 25. You can do 25 on Jefferson.
Okay.
It just needs to be mapped out, and a bunch of dead trees need to be pulled out.
Got it. So I'm going to share the other screen, the one that was from KYCC's proposal, if I can find that. And this is what from KYCC. So the first page, and I know, Helen, you can't see all of this. The first page, but you gave this to me, was the $6,900, which was the money is between Lonnie and UNNC, and it's 25 trees. They wrote on Western Avenue, but we knew that meant Jefferson, and 33 visits during 1 calendar year for each tree, and there's this whole big outline. Some stakes, some mulch, blah blah blah, and then there's a map of trees, but we've discovered that, if I'm not mistaken, that not all of these are doable trees, right? That was the issue.
Basically, it all has to be new tree planting.
All right. So are you saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, we would have to find a source of trees and
No,
get them.
absolutely not. No, you absolutely don't. What you have to do is to map out where the locations that are allowed to have trees are, which KYCC would have to help with because they know all of the various hundreds of city rules. Then pull out the dead trees, which are in quite a few of the good locations where you're allowed to plant a tree. Then have them plant the trees. The trees are free, the planting is free, but everything has to be started on the one date. They have to know all the addresses of the trees, and it has to be started on the one date, or the price changes drastically.
So all I see is that we just need an extension. We just need to make sure that we have another
Yeah.
6 months,
Well,
at least.
Well, you need,
Yes.
as long as Lonnie would extend its money, because they did tell me when I did a check-in that they would extend it a year, but now it sounds like we need it extended 2 years, essentially.
And who has the authority to ask for that, or who can do that?
Well, it would have been
Well,
Helen,
when
but
they
it could be
gave me-
you, Elizabeth.
When it could be at what the grant money was going to be paid directly to me, and I called them up and said, I don't want to have it paid to me. Can you pay it directly to KYCC? And they said, yes, that is perfectly fine. You can instruct us to do that. So I can make that phone call and find out what to do, whether the money gets sent to KYCC or it can be given to someone else, or they could give it to me and then I can give it to one of you guys. I don't know.
So I think we should agree on who's going to be the liaison for coordinating all this now, since it won't be Helen. That's like
Okay.
the number one thing we need to do.
And it's a very large job, and it's going to take a while. Just getting one of those pieces of paper signed is not going to be easy. It's going to be like
remember-
cold calling for the election.
About 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, Maria Stelly and I rode our bikes up and down Jefferson doing this exact thing. Not this exact thing, Helen, but we were making lists. We were making maps of, of trees, dead trees, live trees, chopped down trees. And we wanted this exact same thing. At the time, not to dwell on this too long, but at the time there were marks on all over the sidewalks such that we thought, okay, they're going to do something really big with sidewalk repair. So let's wait until they finish sidewalk repair, and then there'll be something, then we'll have a clearer image of what to do. And it doesn't look any different when I run down there than it has ever looked. I'm willing to take this back up, and I'll try to re-engage Marius. He's still in town, right?
Yeah.
It's no use you and Marius doing it. You have to do it through KYCC because
of
they
course.
know the
Of course.
actual law.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you should also be very wary of talking to anyone but the arborist. These two lovely women who are in charge of doing this stuff drove up and down Jefferson 3 times with me. It took us hours. We wrote down addresses, and they didn't know what they were doing. So don't be spending half a day going, it takes a long time. And make sure you talk to the arborist and you get the written down actual serious rules.
Okay.
Because there were a few of them.
Okay. So there's 3 pieces though that I just want to have clarity on. I and Greg Jackson will handle the UNNC funding piece. Not a problem.
Okay.
If needed, and I think it is needed, I will use the UNNC credit card to make our portion of the, remember our portion is $3,996. Why it is not $4,000, I have no idea. It is $3,996 that we encumbered for this year. Because of the city's financial crisis, we will not be able to re-encumber it, in my opinion. So we have to spend it, but I can use the credit card for that, the UNNC credit card. And Greg and I will figure it out, but we won't do it right now. it's really important though to know exactly what we need to do with Lonnie to get the rest of the money. Because it's not, the project is not 3,996, it's 6,900 or thereabouts. So Helen, I've never seen a copy of the grant proposal. None of us have that. You do. So somehow you've got to either keep this piece of it yourself and deal with Lonnie, or get the whole package to Elizabeth, because otherwise we're never going to get the Lonnie money. And it
Yes.
originally needed to have been spent by now, but when I talked to them, everybody was having trouble spending money in the pandemic, so they were going to extend everybody a year, but not 2 years, because they are having their own financial issues, so they can't keep the money just sitting around forever either. So that piece is really important, and I understand that these are not the biggest two pieces. The biggest piece is then the 25 trees, where are they, how they do, and that would be, I think, what Elizabeth.
Yeah, but there's no point doing all of that if we don't have the money. I will get some sort of answer from Lanny in the next week.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful.
And if it transfers to UNNC, so be it, and then Greg and I can handle it, because that's what Greg is very good at as treasurer. He's very good at being precise and protocol oriented with money.
Okay.
Yes.
His last name?
Greg Jackson. He doesn't know I just volunteered him, but I mean, he's the treasurer.
Yeah.
So
He's great. He's
Yeah.
great.
All right. Well, it's getting on.
Yeah.
Should we
And
move
thank
on to
you.
the next item? Is this wrapped up more or less here?
I think so.
So,
Yeah.
once the Lanny thing, if they say yes, everything is cool, somebody needs to take this on. And
Correct.
I'm happy to sit down and brief them on what's happened with me and what I know.
Yeah.
So,
Elizabeth said she and she'll try and wrangle Marius and others. But it sounds like this
Because-
committee will take it on, essentially.
it's hundreds of hours of work. I'm just warning you. It's tons. 6 months is kind of tight to get it done.
Okay,
Just so you know.
Helen, I think we understand that. And again,
Okay.
and again,
Suitably warned.
warned, and it's going to be really hard to do, but as long as we're confident that it will get done, I think then UNNC can make its the payment portion, our portion, to KYCC. But I mean, we'll need more confidence on that end, that it won't be money, even though we support feeding people and have spent a lot of money on that too, but we want to make sure this money would be for the trees and not for food pantry boxes.
Well, what I can see happening is the money gets given to KYCC and none of the research really gets finished because it is such a huge project. It has to be all finished because before anything can start. And I can just see nothing much happening.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah,
It makes
well,
sense for us to finish the research before we hand over the money.
yes, and
Yes.
I'm saying there's a real deadline on the money, and that is likely June 1. So that's not tomorrow. I mean, that still gives us,
No, it's not, but it's very close.
It's tight. Yeah.
yeah, but
It
it's
is
a
tough.
confidence thing. We just need to be confident by then that there's really trees that are gonna get first planted, then maintained. So,
It's not, I'm certain that they can plant and maintain the trees. This is what they do. They've been doing it for ages. I am absolutely not certain that all of the work to get the signatures and the locations will be done so that they can go ahead and plant the trees.
understood.
That's what I'm not.
Helen, we understand, it's just that, again.
And I would not give KYCC any money at all unless everything is tied up in a bundle and you've got the locations down and they've
Got it.
approved that they're okay.
I heartily agree. Heartily agree.
Okay.
And
Absolutely.
it's
Cool.
just
Thank
a
you.
little bit of a circle, because if we don't spend the money, it goes back to the city's general fund. We will not be able to keep it an additional year.
We
So,
understand.
okay. So
Okay,
it is
So-
what it is.
I think we should move on.
Okay, So Elizabeth, I will call you next week and let you know what Lanny says.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll just leave it at that and meet next month or something. I don't know.
Yes, let's
So
meet
I'll
next
just
month.
call you and then.
Call me.
But then we lost another month, and you don't have anybody doing anything yet. But I will call you before next Thursday and tell you the answer from Lanny.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
And I'm
All
gonna.
right.
Okay. Thank you, Helen. Great.
Okay. See you.
All right. Good night.
Great.
Night.
Okay. So that is awesome. That was quite the brain dump there.
Yeah. Lots of stuff.
All
Right.
right. Do we?
So do you guys think we should write something up for one of my next UNNC e-blasts to see if we can get some help on this?
Yes. Personnel. Yes.
Right. So Elizabeth, you and I can talk offline about what can, I haven't been doing weekly, hey, what's new, but I'm going to do another one of a, hey, what's new kind of e-blast.
Okay. And so we need a team for trees on Jefferson.
Again, Helen's off the call. We long since voted that it's, and Lonnie has approved, it's Jefferson or other commercial corridors.
Great. So just give me.
Because what Helen was saying tonight wasn't quite what she was saying previously, because previously the part of the issue is there is no money to dig out the dead trunks that are, trees that have died. There's nobody to dig out the stumps. So we already were informed that we need to expand our search area, as it were,
Great.
for other.
Right. So we're doing low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, Washington Boulevard, if there's 3 spots there, if there's something near Dan's house. But
Yes.
it's just, yeah, I mean, we need 25 spots,
Right.
ideally focused on Jefferson Park, but it doesn't have to be.
Could be Arlington? Could we include Arlington?
It's not a commercial street. Our funding,
Okay.
the language we used for the encumbrance was commercial street.
Okay.
And again, what happened is, because of the COVID crisis, neighborhood councils for once were allowed to pre-encumber monies that they were unable to spend in the last fiscal year, but they had to be very specified projects. So our specification language, which is how we got to 3996, I still not figured out, because why not 4,000? But the language was very specific. So, but it's fine. I mean, it's broad. It could be Crenshaw, it could be Western, it could be Washington, it could be Pico. We should start with Jefferson, but at the time we were told by Helen that there wasn't 25 spaces that we could do.
Right. Okay.
So.
Awesome. Let's move on, because I really want to, we've got our marching orders. I want to hear from Rachel more and know if there are any projects for the future that we could be part of. And
right. And you have your minutes and your mission also still on your agenda.
Yeah, we have a lot of agenda items to get through in the next 3 minutes. So shall we get through them, and then we can do the rest in the request for future agenda items at the end?
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So the next agenda item is the mission statement. I and Elizabeth drafted something, and
can you put it in the chat?
I can. It's in the agenda, but let's put it in the chat too. Okay, here it is. To help UNNC stakeholders and the whole city fight the causes and effects of pollution and climate change, and thereby make our neighborhoods cleaner, safer, better places to live. Well, that sounded good when I wrote it.
No, that's good.
What was that again? I'm not seeing it.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. Dan, you sent it to me privately.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, that's okay. I can fix it.
Hang on.
Or you can fix it. You have to send it to everybody.
I'm working on it.
Okay. Because I'm saying, looks really good to me.
Yeah, and you're both staring at your screen like you're looking
Right.
at, okay.
There it is.
You know, the whole city thing seems a little funky. I do want to be a little bit broader than UNNC, but that seems much.
Right. Help UNNC stakeholders.
You know, we could just say,
You don't need the whole city.
yeah, we can just take that bit out.
Because UNNC stakeholders could, in fact, live elsewhere.
It's true. Okay. Let me, the hell. All right, so since I wrote it, should I make the motion?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so I am taking out the "and the whole city" part. And the entire universe.
Mars too.
Mars, yes. All right, I move that we adopt this committee adopt the following mission statement to help UNNC stakeholders adopt the following mission to help UNNC stakeholders fight the causes and effects of pollution and climate change and thereby make our neighborhoods cleaner, safer, and better places to live.
Do you want to add the phrase healthier, cleaner, safer, healthier, better places to live?
Yeah.
I would say cleaner, healthier, better,
Okay.
because I couldn't in good conscience put a fourth adjective there.
Fine.
It would have violated the Vienna Compact on adjectives and motions. All right. Do we have a second?
Yep.
Rachel.
Rachel seconds. Great.
Is litter considered pollution?
Yep. Especially when it's needles, masks, filthy gloves. I mean, the litter right now is so much ickier.
It does seem icky. So do we have a second?
It was Rachel.
Rachel.
And so we vote?
Yes, all in favor, raise your hands.
Well, I shouldn't be voting, but anyway.
Okay,
mean,
it's
Okay.
unanimous.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous.
Right. So, so I will tell you that executive committee is gonna continue to work on what Greg is calling committee templates. I'm trying to explain to him that although we have agenda templates, we don't need to have mission statement, vision statement, goal templates, because everybody should be able to do it themselves. But, you know, over time, I mean, obviously, one of your goals would be plant more trees. Another goal is going to be keep them alive, right? Another goal is going to be encourage our developments to utilize native plants, because that's something UNNC has already adopted, actually, on Elizabeth's prior watch. So, you know, but I don't think you need to worry about that immediately. I think that this should develop over time. So,
Quite.
right.
Very good.
Okay.
Well, shall we move on to reviewing the minutes of the last meeting?
Sure. Do you need me to share them? I have them up, or you have them?
I think that would be best.
With me?
Yeah, go ahead and share.
Sure. Because
I got to say, the draft minutes from tonight's meeting are going to stun an ox. I'm going to have to shorten them.
Good.
all right.
Short.
Well, here they are. Here's the last month. Oh, we scared away Gigi Hall.
Yep,
Too bad.
that's life.
I know.
We're, you know,
Wait a
it's
minute,
all,
we really did, or she just couldn't make it tonight?
I have no idea. Everyone is on their own. I didn't have her email to remind her.
And
So.
Dorit Dallard Guerrero?
She had a work engagement tonight. This I do
Okay.
know.
Okay. We don't have a list of members and guests yet?
From tonight? No, this is it.
At all from this committee. So I move that we that we start a spreadsheet of people that
Wait. You've
we're
got
names and
probably
emails.
considering the agenda
Minutes.
item of approving the minutes. So let's
Fine.
vote that. Do we have a motion to adopt the minutes as written?
I move. We adopt.
Okay, do we have a second? Somebody who was there? I second. Okay, all in favor?
Well, it can only be the 3 people who were there who can vote. So Rachel, you can't vote.
Okay,
Only if you were there.
Welcome to city politics.
Well, I think that's a Robert's rule thing.
Sure. That makes sense.
Okay. All
Okay.
good. I'm unsharing. I'm stopping that share. Okay. Now we get to go to your casual what's next stuff, right?
I just want to make sure that we always have emails and contact information of people who have come to our meetings so that we can invite them to further meetings and that we can contact them and say, hey, we didn't see you with anything, because we need to grow this group, not shrink it.
So Rachel, is it okay if I share your contact with Elizabeth and Dan? Because I do have it. Okay.
And I can put it in the chat. Actually, I think I can only put in the chat to you and Dan.
Right. That's
Yeah.
probably true because that's the settings we have.
Okay.
But if you do, then I can post it to, well, if you send it to Dan, he's got it.
Okay, so phone number and email, or just email?
I don't know. Ask Elizabeth, do you like phone or email?
Both.
Both.
Okay, perfect.
And also if it's okay to text you. I think it would be, right? Do you
Yeah,
text?
of course. Yeah.
Okay, good.
you never know.
I tend to want to ask.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
because as Elizabeth knows, it's okay to text me. Don't expect a long answer back. 'Cause
You get my
again,
text then. I can
I
text you.
do, but I have this little,
Right.
little baby
Yes.
phone.
Yes. Good to know.
And if they ever make a smartphone that's the same size with the same flip that I can still put in my little pockets on my little pants, I will switch to a smartphone.
I'm with you. They are sort of silly how big they've gotten.
Well, and how easy they can fall and crack. I mean, the flip phones, they split apart, but they don't crack the screen.
That's true.
True. They were
That's very true.
rugged or.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to, I think the next meeting agenda
Yeah,
items.
it's discussion of items. So you want more information about Garden School Foundation, blah, 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 on the next agenda, it sounded like?
Would you be interested, Rachel, in presenting then?
Yeah, I'd love to. And maybe I can brainstorm some ways that we can collaborate, I think. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
you
great.
know, the foundation kind of started right there on 24th Street because some of the people who were behind it originally lived, Emily Green, Karen Haas,
That's
Emily
right.
used to live there, Karen still does, half a block west of the school. So, I mean, there were other people, but it, really started right here. And, but I think it's evolved to a lot of schools now, right?
Yeah, there are 7 schools now. It's in the east side and down to like Grandview, which is in sort of the like West LA area. So
Right. But if you could plan on doing an actual, like a PowerPoint presentation, which I'd need in advance, but we could also push that out on our UNNC social media, and that's a way to get more people into the meeting room.
yeah, that sounds wonderful.
That's a good idea. So you're planning to present next month and you'll give the material early enough to Laura or to us so that it can be used as promotion for the meeting.
Well, it's not just that. Presentations have to be posted in advance in the advance agenda packet because it's a Brown Act thing. Since we don't have real meetings where you can pass it out in the room, we have to pass it out in the digital
Understood.
advanced room.
But we might use a screenshot from it or something.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
So
that's great.
should that just be sort of an overview of the organization and what we're
Yeah.
doing like COVID
Yeah.
times? Does that sound
Don't-
Well, yeah.
don't-
Well, and also, you know, I think you guys did go ahead and do a summer camp last summer online, maybe. I mean, I wasn't really tracking it, but you know, you've got programs. I mean, in other words, what the Garden School Foundation is and how you had been working, how you are working now, and what you think you're going to be doing for kids next summer, because you know we don't know yet if what we're doing it. I mean, it's a long time away, but it feels like it's coming up quick
Yeah. Okay,
as well.
sounds great.
So like is that what you wanted, Elizabeth?
Hmm. What did I want?
Is that what you wanted, to know more about them?
Oh, sure, sure.
You know, I think you should, Rachel, you should treat this as an opportunity to, you know, find more support if you're looking for people to volunteer. And,
Right.
you know, have you made this kind of presentation before looking for people to help?
No, well, I started in August, but also we have pretty strict rules from the school about volunteers.
Yeah,
So
sure.
they have to go through quite a few.
Oh, right. Yes, never mind. Forget the
Yeah,
help
a little
part.
hard.
So, but let me ask you this, because in the past there was monthly weeding days, for lack of a better phrase. You just,
Mhm.
I mean, I could look it up, but I mean, was that screened, or was anybody allowed to volunteer for that?
So
You know.
those haven't been happening the last few months. We haven't had, I think we're having our first volunteer this Friday, but it's taken weeks just to sort of get that through. So,
What about donations? Do you
Oh,
need
yeah.
money?
we always welcome just like garden donations or monetary. There's always
So-
things for the garden.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll work with your team and come up with something. 'Cause you got a month.
Yeah,
Well,
and I might bring
4
along.
days less than 1 month, because I'll need to post the presentation.
Perfect.
Yeah, and maybe aim for 5 minutes or however long you want to make it.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Right. But in the meantime, the thing about the compost center, send that information to us sooner.
Yeah.
That might be something we can promote right now before the meeting.
So
I mean, unrelated to the meeting. In other words, that's sort of like more like news.
yeah, so that's just like starting next week. I think it should be on the LA Compost website in the next few days.
Great. Good to know. LA Compost. And you're part of LA Compost?
Yeah, so we've become a community hub. I checked just right before this meeting and it's not up there yet. So I think that like all the paperwork's being finalized, but it should be up on that map in the next few days.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-oh, it started.
What's
Started pl-
What started?
The LA Compost video when I went to the website. But wonderful. So Dan and I are with Citizens Climate Lobby, which is, with climate change,
Yeah.
trying to get carbon pricing for climate change. And there's no one, what is it called? Silver bullet. It's silver buckshot. It's many different things that are going to happen, that need to happen. And I love how that's going to involve many people participating.
Oh, you're right
And
about this video, by the way. Okay, never mind.
So I don't know. Have you, what's it called? Drawdown. Have you heard of the book Drawdown?
No, I haven't.
It is, I can't remember his first name, but Hawken, Paul Hawken, I think it is, of Smith and Hawken, the old gardening place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he has since been a environmental researcher and leader, and he came up with this book called Drawdown, which is 100 different things that we need to do in our world to reduce and reverse climate change. And I'm positive that composting is one of them.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's amazing. It's a really fascinating process. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we should declare victory and withdraw. This was a good meeting in the end.
Yeah.
And Rachel, it's been wonderful to have you here. I hope to hear from you again next month.
Yep, I'll be here next month.
And
Super.
we did we decide that 8 o'clock is the right time? Second Thursday, 8 o'clock going forward, Elizabeth? Or
It works for me. Yeah. If I don't lose my
or
mind.
did Dory have a standing commitment on?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
So-
I also don't know what her commitment is or isn't to this committee anyway.
Okay.
So,
We
Okay.
can check it out.
All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
okay.
Thanks, Dan.
You all.
Okay, so
Thanks,
if you
Laura.
want, if
Thanks,
you
Rachel.
want to, before you go, if you want to save the chat, the way you do so is you kind of scroll over to the chat and you'll see 3 little dots with your cursor. You see 3 dots. And then if you roll over that, it says more. One of the things is save chat.
Chat. Mhm.
So, okay.
Awesome.
Which will be saved anyway when the meeting is closed.
Okay.
In a mysterious location.
My computer.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Nice
Bye.
to meet you, Rachel. Thank you.
No, bye.
Okay. Bye. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you. What little room are you in there? Is that the little off
Yeah,
the kitchen?
my little office. Yes. Yes.
No, off the center hall. Where are you?
Yes. Underneath this.
Under
Well,
the
it's,
stair landing.
yeah.
Got it.
This
So
central.
now I'm thinking about this. You cannot go to that Thanksgiving at your mom's if all those
Oh,
people are
it's been
traveling.
canceled. Yeah.
Oh,
it's been
good.
canceled.
Thank
Right.
God. I mean, you could go to your mom's, but they can't. Those people can't. Whoever
They
they
can't.
were.
Exactly. And yeah, so, and actually we went to get tested today because August has been working at this deli and yesterday he just felt lousy. The day before I felt lousy. He monitors every cough I make.
Right. Yeah, no, I've been feeling lousy too. It's possible though it's the weather. That's and daylight savings and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, and stress and a little bug, right? But my nose has been running and stuff, so.
Oh, so when are you getting your results?
I don't know. Last time it took like 4 days, 4 or 5 days to get the results.
See, I haven't been tested yet. Ever.
Okay.
But then again, I'm keeping really a small quarantine.
Quarantine.
Pod. Except for I go to the store and stuff like that. So it's not, it's like I'm not like I'm really seeing 0, but I'm not eating dinner with people. Anyway, okay. So I'll allow you to go to Thanksgiving with your mom.
Thank you.
Those other people. No other people.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So yeah, that's like next week. That's in 2 weeks.
Well, it's in 2 weeks. No, I mean, I think everybody's going to be sad this Thanksgiving because, it is the time when you get together with a lot of people. And sometimes you watch football and sometimes you don't. But you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
my family, we cook the meal together.
It's wonderful to be together. Yeah. I love fall. I love cooking. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But now is Mr. X, Brian, is he having to stay all by himself and work from that home in the loft?
Apparently he
even if you know.
Well, but he has a girlfriend and they've been renting places and going, so I don't think he's unhappy. I haven't heard anything.
But he's working remote, obviously.
Correct. Right. And we would be proceeding with the separation or the mediation thing, except that he doesn't come down to LA anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Because,
well, I mean, ironically, if he had been able to work remote 10 years ago, you probably would not even be in this situation.
I would not be in this situation.
Right. Ironically.
Yeah.
So
for better or worse. Yeah. All right. Well, oh gosh, tomorrow was the day we were supposed to get
No,
together.
it was actually last Friday, but then it got very
Oh.
cold. But it doesn't matter. I can't figure out how to do it at night.
It gets too
I
dark.
mean, maybe we could do lunch. I don't know.
Yeah. Tomorrow I have to go to Long Beach and pick up my window screens.
Ooh, I have an idea. Surface is now open just for the holidays on Sundays, and they're serving French toast on Sundays.
Really?
Yeah, should we do Surface for breakfast?
I'd love to.
On Sunday.
How early could you go?
Well, they don't open till 9. So
Okay, that's
it's gonna be
fine.
before that. And normally I'd rather do the farmer's market first, so I can
Okay.
get my spinach. And then, but I'm not going to get spinach this week. Anyway, but I can go as early as 9.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Sunday at 9?
Yeah, we can do
Okay.
that.
I'm going to write it down here.
Okay.
Sunday. And that's
That would be
the 15th. French toast.
Oh, you know what? I'm still